Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, guys. Well, we are not up on Facebook, but it seems to be Facebook's issue. So we are live on YouTube, and I don't know what I could do about Facebook for us today because Facebook is having an issue. So we will broadcast today on YouTube and hope for the best. That's all we can do. I don't know what else to say. It went nuts. We changed passwords and all that good stuff, and it didn't work. Facebook is not happening. Okay, well, we'll have to go do that later. Meanwhile, it's 8:30. We're going to gong ourselves in. Casper was right here. We had a little confusion first thing this morning because of the Facebook issue, and that's how that goes. Facebook is down. Try YouTube. I'm on YouTube. Hi, I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. We're going to spend, here's Casper right now. He wanted to come up. Come on. We're going to spend these next few minutes together, less than 20 at this point, and just sort of remind ourselves what we know and how to bring what we know into our conscious awareness in this day. So that's a good thing. We're happy that you're here. And we're going to gong ourselves in. As I say, we're missing our ability to communicate because there's no two-way street on YouTube. The two-way street is on Facebook, and Facebook is not having it. Facebook is just doing its thing today. So that's what happens when we dig big with these big companies. Things are not always in our control. But it doesn't want me to do it no matter what, so we're just going to go on. Let me try one more time. Thank you for your patience. And no, it's not letting me log in. Not letting me log in, so we are going to continue on. So let's gong ourselves in. Let's take a big deep breath in. Good news is we'll be back next Tuesday. If we don't get through today, hopefully you can find the YouTube address because we are live on YouTube currently. So here we go. Big breath in. We're going to take a big deep breath in. We're going to let out the sound ah. Ah. Knowing that as we breathe that holy breath, because we're consciously breathing it, it is becoming holy. Another big deep breath in. Well, for those of you in the United States, today is Super Tuesday. A lot of states voting in their primary election. And what we need to be aware of is that the path of awakening is not determined by the things happening in the outside world. The path of awakening is determined by what we're doing in our own consciousness, in our own day. And today is the day. Some of you may have seen out on Facebook, speaking of Facebook, I posted a writing that I did some time ago about quantum physics and the laws of consciousness. And the person that I quoted was Aaron Schrodinger, who is one of the authors of quantum physics. And he says, I am the person, if any, who controls the motion of the atoms according to the laws of nature. I am the person who controls the motion of the atoms. Of course, anyone who can say I is that same person who is controlling the motions of the atoms. And really what that's reminding us is what we already know, and that there is a law of the circle, that energy that comes from me returns to me as the multiple facets of my life. And until we recognize that law of the circle, also called the law of mind, that the universe is responding to us by corresponding to us, we're going to get blown around by the winds of change and the winds of temporal movements in the world, and we will seem as though we are powerless, when the actual truth is that you were born in the image and likeness of the One, with the same creative power of the One. And that's what that means, that that which God knows is, and that which you and I know at the deepest level of our being, and that would be a combination of our conscious and subconscious mind, that's returning to us as our experience. So if we want to know what we know, we ask, how's my life going today? How are things unfolding in my world today? And we can look again, as Raymond Charles Barker, the famous teacher, taught us, we can look again at these four areas of our life: health, wealth, love, and purpose, and see if we're on track. And if we're not on track, the good news is we can change your mind, because I am the person, if any, who controls the motion of the atoms. Now, the pattern of the universe is born in harmony. The universe itself is pure intelligence. That intelligence is everywhere present and manifesting at its level of vibration everywhere. Now, when we become aware that there is a pattern of wholeness, a pattern of what religious traditions have called the Christ, the Atman, the Buddha, the high self-consciousness, the I am that I am, and that pattern is designed to guide each of us as the Holy One. You know, we talk about other dimensions, angels and archangels and spirit guides and all kinds of interesting aspects of consciousness unfolding through us, but the real self, the I am that I am, is the Holy One. This is the day the Holy One has made, and I am rejoiced and glad in it. And the more I align myself with that Holy One, the more I seek that perfect guidance in my life, the more it is active in my life. Now, we have talked about here on Coffee with Casper many times the idea that that psalmist has called that the still small voice. And what's happening through the awakening of humanity, and you and I would fall into that category on the awakening of humanity. Through there are more light workers on the planet than there's ever been before. And we're defining light workers as people who recognize that energy and matter are equal and unchangeable. Energy cannot be destroyed. It does not die. It changes form. And you and I are that energy, and we are right now in the form incarnate as our personal selves, as human beings in this life. Perfect spirit, perfect soul, perfect body, perfect man, perfect human, perfect being, perfect soul, right? We are all of those things, and we are in the body now. So there's the great line from Roy Eugene Davis, I am an immortal spiritual being superior to my mind, my body, and in our experience. So what's happened, because so many of us have said yes, because so many of us have taken responsibility in our lives for the law of the circle and stand in awe and wonder of the beauty in our lives through the law of the circle, that we begin to see the more I practice high spiritual love, the more that high spiritual love... Casper, you're being awfully... He just wants to be petted and part of the show today. He said, where is everybody? Or you're not talking to everybody. Well, I can't see everybody today because the owner of Facebook, Meta, does not have it together today. And thank God we're on YouTube and we're broadcasting. And good news is we'll be back next Tuesday. So hopefully all the mechanisms will be back in place, and we'll be able to share our message with all of the cyber ways that we reach people. But we're glad you're here on YouTube today. We're glad you have found us, and you're glad that today we are remembering who I am. And what has happened, as we started to say, is because there have been so many conscious beings awakening and surrendering to the high self, surrendering to that what the Lord's Prayer suggests, that thy will be done, surrendering to the highest order, that I came from the light with a purpose, and I am now listening and asking into that still small voice so that I can hear it more clearly, and so that it is popping into my awareness, perhaps bringing new ideas. Perhaps we're communicating better through telepathy with our friends and loved ones than we have recently. Perhaps we're aware that, whoa, I felt an idea and I didn't respond to it, and then we learn. That's the big lesson always, right? That the high self is talking to us, and then often we don't listen to it. I mean, a concrete example of that in my life is a few weeks ago, as we had floods here in the Santa Monica Mountains, and including in this canyon that I live in called Topanga Canyon. The flash flood got into the hood of my car. The road overflowed with mud and water. The car died, and I had to get a new car. The car was totaled. And when I walked out the door with my wife that evening, I heard myself say, this is a bad idea. We were just going to go visit grandkids and our son and family, and something just said this is a bad idea, because I was aware of the storm, I was aware of the threats of floods, but it didn't seemed like a regular rainy day, and I didn't think it was a problem. I didn't even switch cars to the SUV. I took the little car. But I said out loud to myself and to my wife as I'm walking out the door, this is a bad idea. And I didn't make any adjustment. I heard myself say it, and I didn't make any adjustments. I didn't change routes. I didn't change cars. I didn't adjust, even though I heard myself say out loud, this is a bad idea. Well, what that was is the voice, the I am presence within me, telling me to make an adjustment. But I didn't listen to it, even though it came through my own mouth out loud. And I didn't listen to it, and I didn't adjust to it, and there's the word sin. Sin means I aimed and I didn't hit the target, I missed the mark. And if you make a mistake, you pay for it. And then it's over. It's done. I made a mistake, I paid for it, it's over. It's done. And I'm moving on in the spiral. I have a much more adult car than the one I had before. And it's lovely, but I'm having to adjust. I wasn't expecting to grow up so fast. Right? Don't need the sports car anymore, apparently. So it doesn't mean it's not a lovely car. It doesn't mean Spirit didn't provide. Doesn't mean there aren't answers. But I didn't listen to my own high self, even though it spoke through my own voice. Now, how many times have we had a hunch, a clue, a gut feeling, and we didn't listen to it, and then we got the result of that mistake, that sin, we missed the mark, and then we paid for it, and then you learn, right? That's we open our awareness to learn, because we're learning again, because everyone's I am presence, because so many of us have been praying that the will of the Most High, that the law of harmony itself sets itself into motion through our lives, guide me, guard me, direct me, and protect me, and lead me into the paths of perfect right action, surrendering to that I am presence, the voice is getting louder. And because so many of us have made the call, the voice is getting louder through all of the plans from all of the realms to awaken humanity to its magnificence are in action, and they're in action through you and me. As I often have said, the word integration, the first definition in the dictionary of the word integration is to make whole. And you and I, as conscious beings, knowing that there's only one life, that life is everywhere present, in and as and through all creation and all dimensions, and I am one with that life. Now in tuning to my high self, which is guiding, gazing at the glory, as Meister Eckhart says, of the Most High, gazing at the glory and directing my senses. And I am now listening more acutely. And the way that's going to work is creativity will work in you better. Ideas will pop into your mind when you least expect them. Then you might write them down, and then something happens and something good comes from that. Some guidance to make a phone call or to follow a single step will come into you, and you didn't know you were going to make that step, and that step happens. And then more good unfolds after that because the voice is getting louder, and the voice is on your side. It's your beloved self. It's the idea that God created you in the fullness, spirit, source, energy created you in the fullness of being to express out into the world in fullness of being, to release our fears and doubts. What's the line of the soul? It is Ernest Holmes, the great philosopher from the last century, said, it's the nature of the Spirit to express through us, not in limitation or fear or want, but in freedom. And now we're in this time of change. And Martin Luther King reminded us as such a simple truth, that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And now we are the integrators. The first definition of integration is to make whole, and you and I are the integrators now. We are carrying our conscious awareness into the world. We are, by means of asking, seeking, and knocking, by means of surrendering to that voice which is getting louder, and by means of committing to following it better. And if we make a mistake, I forgive myself and my mistakes, and I move into the future with a clean slate. And the affirmation remains forever true. There is no limit, because we're not supposed to be in fear, doubt, and want. We're supposed to be in good. Good and more good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. It crowds itself against me, flows through me, and multiplies itself around me. I am the integrator. And the more I step into my life, allowing that I am presence to guide, direct, and lead me into the paths of perfect right action in this day, in every encounter, in every person that I contact, in every way that I adjust my energy to move higher and forward, deeper into love and light and truth and wisdom, and to call that love and light and truth and wisdom into my life until every area of my life, health, is radiant, vibrant, dynamic health, that I'm remembering that perfect pattern and calling it in and seeing through the mist, knowing that I have a right to be youthful, dynamic, and powerful and whole every day, and I'm drawing on that pattern in my life. I have a right to perfect love, and that the love may flow through me and multiply itself around me. I have a right to be in purpose fulfilled, right? I have a right to allow bliss to unfold into my experience. Not because I am creating the bliss, but I am discovering the bliss and opening to that bliss and bringing that bliss into my life in a new way this week. I am the integrator, not myself alone, but myself and every other light worker. So I am now seeing the highest and best in every soul that I encounter. Seeing the highest and best in all kinds of people. Race, color, creed, ways of being, shape, doesn't matter. We are remembering each and all are the I am presence, and I am that I am presence, and I am one with all life, and I am one with all creation, and I am one with the Creator. And I am now creating by means of my prayers and meditations and my attitude set for each day. I am creating that which clears the mist, that sees through the mist into the eternal and changeless reality, and is bringing that glory, that good, that love, that wonder into my life today. So today, Facebook isn't working. Today, YouTube is our way of communicating and finding each other. So if you found this broadcast, you belong here. You are one with us. And we invite you to tune into us live, 8:30 Pacific time, Tuesday mornings, anytime you can. But if not, paste from the poster, paste from Facebook if you find them, paste the page. You'll find all of these episodes of Coffee with Casper, each one designed to remind us of our own magnificence and inviting us to call that magnificence into our life today, to see through the mist of the chaos of the world, of the upsetness of war and violence and prejudice, to be the place of peace, to be the place of transcendent love, to be the place of transcendent wisdom, and to allow it to come in us and as us and through us and amaze ourselves even as we bring greater good into the world. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. We'll be back here next week, hopefully on YouTube and Facebook, but we're grateful that we've been able to find each other in this day. If you found anything valuable in this lesson today, share the YouTube address, invite people to like and follow. Let's together multiply our good. Let's together call what we have learned through our life experience into our lives, and let's bring it forth as light in the world. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. We'll be back with Coffee with Casper next week. In the meantime, we ask you to remember who you are is something special. And the light you bring into the world is critical. So may the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then. Bye for now. There's Casper. He says bye for now. He doesn't care about Facebook or YouTube. He just cares. That's all that matters. Best day ever.